Yep, you saw the title. I quit my job at Google. Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Toyun Kim, your resident tech trash software engineer up in Silicon Valley. And as you can see, your boy is no longer working at Google. For those of you that are new to this channel, and just for my analytics, there are a gang of you that are new to this channel. Why don't you switch that up? Why don't you hit that subscribe button? Join the fam, y'all. We just trying to blow up on here. We a rocket ship, okay? But for those of you that are new to this channel, I was a software engineer at Google. It was my very first job that I took after graduating college in 2019. And I actually just quit my job. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved my time at Google, but I decided as I grew older, wiser. No, actually, I'm not really that much wiser. I'm still like a fetus at this point. But as I hit my 1.5 year mark at Google, I kind of just realized I wanted to do something a little different. I had a few other reasons as to why I left Google, the mothership, which it's kind of looked at like the holy grail of tech jobs, right? It's the place where everybody wants to go. It is known for the best perks in the world, best work-life balance, working at one of the largest, most impactful companies in the world. And don't get me wrong, that's all 100% true. But I had a few reasons as to why I left, and let's get into it. And the reason why I left Google is actually so that I could do YouTube and TikTok full time. I'm just kidding. You think I'm crazy enough to do that? What the? So the very first reason as to why I left my role at Google is because I realized I'm still young and I still have so much to learn in my career, and there's so much new technology out there that I want to learn. And quite frankly, Google being the gigantic tech company that it is, there is a lot of internal tools that are used, like internal frameworks, internal languages, a lot of internal tools that aren't really that popular outside of Google, or quite simply do not exist outside of Google. And I realized I don't know how to do engineering in modern, post 2008, 2010 tech stack. And when I think about my long-term goals of where I want to be maybe in 10, 15 years, my long-term goal is to be running my own startup or be a very, very early engineer at a startup so I can, start really building a product completely from nothing to something bigger in the future. And I think about that goal, if I were to think about you, if you were to come up to me on the streets being yo, my boy Toyun, I got this $1 billion idea. I'll handle the business side. Can you code it out for me? I would honestly be honestly, no. I can code it maybe, but I don't know how to deploy it onto the internet. I don't know how to do any DevOps stuff. I don't really know how to write production grade code and write production grade software outside of Google technology, because quite frankly, I only know the Google tech stack because that's where I started working immediately after graduating college. So with that in mind, I kind of realized that the tech industry at large, post 2008, 2010, really, they've kind of converged onto a modern tech stack. It's React in the front end, and hosted on AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, using a microservice architecture, and everyone communicates through Slack, and it's a continuous deployment and continuous integration is done by Circle CI or something like that, and things are deployed via Docker containers and Kubernetes, yada, yada, yada. Basically, I know all the hot new technology out there, but your boy don't know how to use any of that, all right? And I kind of want to change that. So I realized the best place for me to learn about this kind of stuff is in a little bit more of a modern tech company, a younger tech company, basically a smaller tech company that is not one of the mega giants, because I think all the mega giant tech companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, those types of companies, I think they do a lot of their own stuff. They use a lot of internal tools, a lot of internal technologies. So I realized that I should probably go somewhere else a little bit smaller, just to learn this modern tech stack a little bit more to optimize for my long-term goal of running my own startup in the future. Also, just a quick little pause in the video, but chances are if you're watching this video, there is a high chance that you are interested in pursuing a career in tech, and that your boy just so happens to offer some career consulting at buymeacoffee.com/ToyunKim. And a program where I talk about everything that I know about the job recruiting process, starting all the way from where to start learning how to code, how to make a good resume, how to find your first internship and job opportunities, and how to succeed at your job. If you're also interested in the A to Z guide of how to get started in your career in tech as a software engineer, I will also include a link to that program down below in the description as well. Number two is the fact that while I'm young, I still want to go to a more startup-y realm. I think that Google has a lot of processes, and for good reason. When you are as large as Google and the stuff that you work on literally impacts billions of people all across the world, processes are necessary so that there's checks and balances to make sure things don't go out that are going to break, or things aren't going to go out that are not received well, or things that are go out that might potentially even be hurtful or controversial. So the fact that there is a lot of process is actually good in my opinion at Google. But being the young 24-year-old testosterone filled guy that I am, I'm kind of in that young hustle mindset. I'm not burnt out. I'm ready to grind, baby. So I'm ready to put in a lot of work and move fast and build stuff and ship stuff really quickly. So I kind of just realized, at least at this stage in my life, I'm ready to go to a smaller startup that maybe the work hours are a little bit more demanding, but I think for now, at least while that I have the energy levels and the power of youth powering me, I'm willing to take that sacrifice and work-life balance and really go hard and really put my whole body and put all my energy into building out a little smaller startup into something bigger in the future. Number three is the fact that I think for the longest time, I was actually really scared to leave Google. And the reason for that is because I think during college, when I actually got the job offer at Google, I kind of got like imposter syndrome. I started wondering, did I only get the job at Google because of luck? Will I ever be able to replicate the success again? Will I ever be able to pass the interviews again? I started really doubting myself and my abilities. And because I was always like afraid of leaving, because also like during high school and college, Google was my dream job. Like I always wanted to work there. And then now that I'm older and I was actually working there, I was like, wait, I'm actually at Google. Why would I ever want to leave? Like you can't let go of this. This has been your dream for the longest time. So for the longest time, I was just too afraid of leaving because I thought I wouldn't be able to come back if I wanted to. But I think eventually it just came to a point where I needed to take a leap of faith, and I kind of casually interviewed around at a few other places, and I was able to get some other offers as well. And that kind of started giving me more and more confidence, realizing like, this is not a fluke. And worst case scenario, like in a few years, if I want to come back to Google or if I want to come back to like another big tech company, I have full faith in myself that I can. Like I think that I am able to prepare for my interviews. I'm a strong enough candidate where if I really ever wanted to come back to Google, I am pretty sure I could pass the interviews and return. And on top of that, it's like all these big companies, they'll be there in the future. Google's going to be there in 5 years. Facebook's going to be there in 5 years. Same with Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple. They're all going to be here in the next few years. So really, there is very little risk for me to leave Google right now, trying out a smaller startup, because if I ever really wanted to come back, I can just interview again. Daddy Google's always going to be there. I can always return home, go and come back to the mothership and get those massages and free food. It's always going to be there. And final reason as to why I left Google for a smaller company is the fact that I wanted to build something a little bit more from scratch. I think with Google, because it's been around for so long and it's just such a tech behemoth, a lot of processes are figured out. A lot of problems have already been solved like earlier on in the company's founding. And at times, I sometimes feel like I'm missing those technical challenges. And for that reason, I wanted to join a smaller company where there are still a ton of technical challenges left to be figured out. Like I want to be a part of the team that helps build the processes of the companies, that helps build the engineering of the company, to help build out the company from scratch into something bigger. Because even though you can get ownership at a bigger tech company like the Google, Facebook, Amazons out there in the world, I think that the ownership that you get is still relatively small in scope because the products and features are so large at these big tech companies. A team really owns like a very, very small portion of a particular product or feature. Sometimes I want to have ownership over like an entire product, like a gigantic behemoth product. And really, I think the only place where you can really get that type of true ownership is by going to a much smaller company where there are much fewer engineers and where every engineer has to take on more workload and more ownership over a particular part of the technology that you're building out. I've always realized that with my personality, I really love that feeling of ownership, building something completely from end to end, owning like a gigantic part of like mission critical software or the mission critical product. And I think that you can only really get that at smaller companies because quite frankly, when you look at these gigantic tech companies, there are thousands, if not like hundreds of thousands of engineers working there. And so with that many engineers, every single engineer owns a very, very small slice of the pie, and that your boy is trying to get a fat slice of the pie. So that's why I got to go to a little bit of a smaller company to get that big slice of pie that I want and that big slice of ownership and independence that I want as an engineer. So those are my 4 reasons as to why I am leaving Google, the mothership. I absolutely loved my time at Google. It was honestly the best place for me to go in terms of like jumpstarting my career fresh out of college. And also like my coworkers and my managers were some of the coolest, the chillest, the best people that I have ever met. So it was really, really hard to leave them actually. And I got really sad when I had to leave. But, I realized that it's pretty common in the tech industry for people to jump around every like 1.5, 2 years to try out new opportunities, get better career progression and stuff like that. And I figured that while I'm young and I don't have any responsibilities in terms of like kids and family to support right now, this is the best time in my life for me to try something a little bit riskier, try something that had not necessarily a guaranteed success, because with any startup or smaller company, there's no guaranteed success and you're really fighting tooth and nail every single day to survive. And I know some of you are going to be wondering like, yo, Tonyan, where are you going to be hopping over to? Where's your next gig? Stay tuned. I have something lined up, but I don't know if I want to disclose that information quite yet. Maybe later on down the line, I'll let y'all know where exactly I'm going to be at. But for now, I'm going to keep that little hush, And also, I got to protect the brand. I was known as like the Google guy. Now I got to be known as like the ex-Google engineer. Got to milk that for as much as I can. Come on, I'm honest. I'm 100% honest with y'all. Let's be real, okay? So for the time being, I'm going to keep it a little bit under wraps just in terms of where exactly I'm going to go. But, maybe sometime in the future, I'll disclose where I work. But don't you worry, just because your boy is out of Google, you already know I'm still going to be pumping out tech content on the regular. I got some exciting things coming up. So if you want to see more of this content, definitely feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, definitely hit that like button as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.